तव कथामृतम् तप्तजीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् श्रवणमङ्गलम् श्रीमदाततम् भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः।
ॐ तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जना. We are studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, and we are still in the conversation of 27th October 1882, and we are on steamer which Keshav had brought from Calcutta, and the steamer is going back towards Calcutta. And now something new. It has been told in the beginning of this section that Keshav and Vijay, there was a fight between them. And Vijay has come with Thakur. And Keshav has brought the steamer. And they are seated near each other on the chairs. And they are feeling shy of each other. At this point now, Thakur wants to break that deadlock and make them love each other again. And so Thakur takes up now, Master, to Keshav. Look here, there is Vijay. Your quarrel seems like the fight between Shiva and Rama. Shiva, Rama is an incarnation of Vishnu. And Shiva takes Rama as his worship god. And Rama takes Shiva as his guru. But there was some occasion because the devotees belonging to different groups were supported by Shiva and Rama. So there was a fight between them. Your quarrel seems like the fight between Shiva and Rama. Shiva was Rama's guru. And yet there was a fight. Though they fought with each other, yet they soon came to terms. That means soon became friendly. But the grimaces of the ghost, Shiva's companions, the followers of Shiva, and the gibberish of the monkeys, the followers of Rama, would not come to an end. Loud laughter, loud laughter. So everybody felt this truth within this, with the funny example. Such quarrels take place even among one's own kith and kin. So not the question of the guru disciples or the parties, but within one's own kith and kin also, such quarrels take place. Didn't Rama fight with his own sons, Lava and Kusha? So the story goes that after Rama banished Sita, he was never at peace. So his ministers told him that if you do some very big activity like the Ashwamedha Yajna, a horse is left free to roam wherever it likes. and the soldiers follow him. And when some people recognize Rama as the supreme king, emperor, some kings do not want to recognize that. So they will hold that horse. And when the horse is held by somebody, Rama's soldiers have to go and fight with them. And then if they win, Rama loses. But if Rama wins, Rama's forces wins, then that king offers some present to Rama. And Rama is the emperor. Like that, when the king roams wherever it likes, north, south, east, and west, and comes back, then the sacrifice is completed after that. Now, Rama's wife Sita was abandoned by Rama due to Sita lived in Ravana's forest, Ravana's garden, in Ravana's Lanka. Ravana kidnapped her, stealthily kidnapped her, and put her in Lanka. So for 1 year she was there. She never had any thought in the mind of any man except Rama. And Rama attacked Ravana, killed him, and then had a fire ordeal for Sita. He said, Sita, it's my duty, so I freed you. But now you may go anywhere you like. That hurt Sita very much. And she said, I will get a fire lighted and I will burn this body of mine if you have any doubt. Rama had no doubt, but he wanted to prove to the people about it. And so Sita had that fire ordeal, and Rama took her back and brought to Ayodhya, his capital. Now there was great rejoicing and all that. But after several years, Rama used to send his spies incognito to find out the people's opinion. And once they reported that some washerman, some ordinary citizen, his wife had gone somewhere and come late in the night. He was not allowing her to come. And in that course he said, I am not like Rama, who accepts his wife even after she lived 1 year outside. So the spies and through them Rama found out that people are not satisfied with Rama as the ruler. And he had promised everybody that I will protect my citizens more than my wife. And so he abandoned Sita to the forest again. And there the sage Valmiki took care of her, and she was pregnant at that time when Rama abandoned her. And twins were born to her, Lava and Kusha. And then they grew, and the Rishi sage taught them all the knowledge, because they were Kshatriyas. So the Rishi taught them the archery and everything about the warfare. They were very young, but when Rama's horse came there, they captivated it. And then there was fight. And Rama had to fight with his own sons. That is the story. Didn't Rama fight with his own sons, Lava and Kusha? So the example of great, noble, ideal people. So even there, they have to quarrel. So it is the nature of the world. Again, you must have noticed how a mother and daughter living together and having the same spiritual end in view observe their religious fast separately on Tuesdays, each on their own account, Mangalvar. That means that worship ensures their welfare. As if the welfare of the mother were different from the welfare of the daughter. As if. So similarly, after all these examples, Vijay and Keshav both are sadhakas. Both are strugglers for God. That is the only thing we should consider. And their example is that mother and daughter celebrating Mangal or Puja as if their welfare is separate, each on her own account, as if the welfare of the mother were different from the welfare of the daughter. But what benefits the one benefits the other. So both have the spiritual aim. In like manner, you have a religious society, and Vijay thinks he must have one too. Slightly difference of opinion. Laughter. So this equation made people laugh. They found the anomaly of their behavior. But I think all these are necessary. Why? Different minds, different sects. While Sri Krishna himself, God incarnate, played with the gopis at Vrindavan, another example. Troublemakers like Jatila and Kutila appeared on the scene. You may ask why. The answer is that the play does not develop without troublemakers. A drama, when there are problems, then it develops the narration. Or love. Because of this example also is a very humorous thing. There is no fun without Jatila and Kutila. So the fun increases. No fun without Jatila and Kutila. Loud laughter. So everywhere we find laughter, laughter, laughter. So Master's thing is raising people's mind up and they are enjoying laughing. Again another example. Ramanujan upheld the doctrine of qualified non-dualism. I have to explain this. What is qualified non-dualism? I am one with God, but God is defined as I, you, he, she, it. We are all qualifications of that God. Though we are one, we are like the qualification. So, qualified non-dualism. That is the philosophy of Ramanuja. Ramanuja upheld the doctrine of qualified non-dualism, but his guru was a pure non-dualist. Pure non-dualists believe Jiva and Brahman are not separate, they are not different, they are identical. So his guru had that, and the Shishya had some difference from him. They disagreed with each other and refuted each other's arguments. Correct. That always happens. That always happens. People, if they have different opinions, they quarrel. Still, to the teacher, the disciple is his own. But the teacher loves the disciple. He thinks he is my own. All rejoiced in the master's company and his words. So, because Thakur was setting aside their quarrel, people enjoyed it like anything. People were happy. Master took Keshav. You don't, another point now. Why this breakup came? There, another point Thakur is raising and telling. This quarrel, Thakur has almost solved it. Master took Keshav. You don't look into people's natures before you make them your disciples, and so they break away from you. So, Thakur never did this. Thakur judged the man and then accepted him. This Keshav was not doing. They wanted to increase the number, and that is why, without testing people, or they did not have the capacity to do that, without testing people, Thakur made, Keshav made his member, and later on they disagreed. You don't look into people's nature before you make them your disciples, and so they break away from you. Now people are different. That has to be first taught. Don't take everybody the same. In the third meeting of Master Mahasaya Thakur, we had discussed it, how people differ. All men look alike, to be sure, but they have different natures. Some have an excess of sattva, others an excess of rajas, and still others an excess of tamas. Now the bodies and the mind, which are evolutes of Prakriti, consist of three gunas: sattva, equipoise; raja, dynamism or activity or restlessness; tama, inertia, sleep, ignorance, etc. These are in everybody, but they are more or less preponderant. That distinguishes man from man. You must have noticed that the cakes known as puli. Puli is a typical Bengali sweet, generally made and eaten near about the Makar Sankranti festival, 14 January. Around that, this is very common. You must have noticed that cakes known as puli all look alike, but their contents are very different. Some contain condensed milk, some coconut kernel, and others near boiled kalai pearls, that black gram or love. That is another example which people will like. Do you know my attitude? As for myself, I eat, drink, and live happily. That means the I is not present, active. And so, to do this and to do that and to make a sangha and all this quarrel, I do not entertain. I eat, drink, and live happily. The rest the Divine Mother knows. Indeed, there are three words that prick my flesh: Guru, Master, and Father. Sage, people call him Guru. That is not like him. Everybody can have like that, he says. He does not feel superiority when people call him Guru. Master. Master means slave and master. Master means perfect in something. What is the original Bengali word? Karta or master means this. This Bengali word karta means the in a house the main man who is the authority. In corporate world, the CEO, that is called the karta. Now Thakur is the master. So people will call him karta, but Thakur does not like that I am superior than others. That is the second point. Third, father. Sadhus are generally called Baba, father. Thakur does not think that I am the father and people are children. No. So this sameness of vision, because he sees everybody as manifestation of Brahman, so there is sameness of vision in that the superiority complex is totally absent. So how he has brought to this topic, testing people, different opinion is bound to happen, but then he has seamlessly, as I said, brought it to the Brahma Buddhi, the man of realization, his attitude. If you have that attitude, no question of quarrels or anything, or my opinion and your opinion. A class is going on. So, now, so he has shifted the talk, quarrel and all that, difference opinion and all that. But if a man develops Brahma Buddhi, that inside everybody, it is the manifestation of same Brahman, then the superiority complex, inferiority complex, all these have no place. So how beautifully from that quarrel and all that, Thakur has brought the conversation to this Brahma Buddhi. And then he says, because he does not like the word Guru, so there is only one Guru, and that is Satchidananda. Satchidananda means Brahman, the reality of all, can only teach people. That is Thakur's fixed opinion. Because he sees that. And if somebody has the power like a Guru, then Thakur sees that it is the Brahman in him which is the teacher, not that person. So all this talk is now breaking down the personal barriers. He alone is the teacher. My attitude towards God is that of a child towards his mother. One can get human gurus by the millions. Everybody wants to become the guru. All want to be teachers, but who cares to be a disciple? So, first you have to develop this sadhak attitude. You have to learn from a teacher, then you will become the right guru. Otherwise, everybody wants to be the teacher and they fail miserably. It is extremely difficult to teach others. A man can teach only if God reveals himself to him and gives the command. Authority, chapras. God authorizes somebody to teach, then only he can teach. And Shankara had it too. So Shankaracharya teaching people because he had a command from God. Unless you have a command from God, who will listen to your words? So you are the leader, he is the leader of another party, you are Guru and he is Guru. Guru is only one, Satchidananda. Or a person who has got command or authority from Guru, God. And as a bright example, she says, Shankaracharya had this command. So how otherwise you can teach? Who will listen to your words? Don't you know how easily the people of Calcutta get excited? The people of Calcutta, it has two meanings. English educated young man, but another is Calcutta. It is well known in society. Kolkata's people, Hujuge, they like sensation. So in recent history, when Eisenhower comes to India, Calcutta is in turmoil. When Khrushchev from Russia comes to Calcutta, they are again in turmoil. So that is called Calcutta people get excited. So without real guru and all that, somebody says something, Calcutta people get excited. The milk in the kettle puffs up and boils as long as the fire burns underneath. Take away the fuel and all becomes quiet. So that is the example. The people of Calcutta love sensations. Yes, that is the Rujugi. Thakur is telling. You may see them digging a well at a certain place. They say they want water, but if they strike a stone, they give up that place. They begin in another place, and there perhaps they find sand and give up that second place also. To next they begin at a third, but so it goes. But it won't do if a man only imagines that he has God's. Oh, that is a separate topic. Huh? People may feel, I have got command. It is only your feeling. There is something actual God giving the command. It is not man's imagination or feeling for himself. So this is a separate important point. He said, if there is command, then only people will listen to you. People feel, I have command, I have command. So command has a definite place, not anybody feeling command. God does reveal himself to man and speak. So it is an actual case of realization. Only then may one receive his command. So first is that he must have his own experience and then he gets command. How forceful are the words of such a teacher? They can move mountains because they have realized God. So the force in their words is that they can move mountains. But mere lectures, the habit of the Brahma Samaj people. People will listen to them for a few days and then forget them. They will never act upon mere words. So he's telling Keshav that you people only give lectures, you people do not try to realize God. That if you had done, then all this would not have arisen. At Kamarpukur, there is a small lake called the Haldar Pukur. Haldar Pukur was a big lake. Huh? About Jesus, you will find after the Sermon on the Mount, there is a comment that people are astonished that he taught as a person having command, not as the Sadducees and Pharisees. That means just people preaching. I found that because Haldar Pukur is a big tank, in the Bengali, small or big is not mentioned. Haldar Pukur is a tank in Kamarpukur. At Kamarpukur, there is a lake called Haldar Pukur. Certain people used to befoul its banks every day by passing urine or stools there. Others who came there in the morning to bathe would abuse the offenders loudly, but next morning they would find the same thing. The nuisance didn't stop. Allah, the villagers finally informed the authorities about it. A constable was sent who put up a notice on the bank which said, commit no nuisance. This stopped the miscreant at once, Allah. So it shows the command. These days, even with that notice, people will not find it. But this is the command, actual command. To teach others, one must have a badge of authority. Otherwise, teaching becomes a mockery. A man who is himself ignorant starts out to teach others, like the blind leading the blind. Instead of doing good, this is mentioned in the Upanishads, Kathāmrita. Instead of doing good, such teachings does harm, because you do not have the full knowledge. And so you suppose certain things which may not be true, and people, if they follow, it will become destructive. After the realization of God, one obtains an inner vision. Only then can one diagnose a person's spiritual malady and give instruction. So the Guru has to have the knowledge of Brahman as well as the knowledge of the functions of Maya in different people's mind. Then only he can correct that and bring him to the right path. That is almost the last point Thakur has brought. Without the commission from God, a man becomes vain. Vain means proud without any substance. He says to himself, I am teaching people. This vanity comes from ignorance. For only an ignorant person feels that he is the doer, karta. That itself is wrong. The real teacher does not say, I am teaching. A man verily becomes liberated in life if he feels God is the doer. If he really feels God is the doer, one becomes Jivan-Mukta. Is a new thing we heard here in Thakur repeatedly. Shall we try to understand this philosophically? Now God is the doer. So God is not Nirgun here, God is Sagun. And this realization is not Mukti as defined by Shankaracharya or the other Advaitis. And Thakur calls it Mukti. So this is a big point, big point. Now, who does everything? God or Ishvara or Sagun Brahma. Nirgun Brahma is inactive. So, he has not yet realized the Nirguna Brahma. He has realized the Saguna Brahma. Now in Saguna Brahma, I am there, but I am not separate from God. In Nirgun Brahma, there is no I to talk about. Now, one who is with the Sagun Brahma, the word identity does not hold good. The word is unity. I am one with God. I is there, which is one with feels one with God. So this is what the karmis feel. And this is Jivan Mukta because the I, the doer, is upset. After I, the doer, goes away, we have seen in Vedanta that I, new I is born, which is only the experiencer of God. And this person ends in Mukti. So either this ends in Mukti or this is sufficient for a man not to come back to this world due to wrong knowledge. So this you will find rather unique in Thakur along with the Vaishnavas. Vaishnavas say 4 types of Mukti. Salokya, Samipya, Sarupya and Sayujya. This is Sayujya Mukti. Becoming one with God. So, This is why Thakur calls him Mukta. Shankar will say he has yet to realize Nirguna. So he may have Kramamukti. That means from there he may become Mukta. So that is the difference in expressions of Shankar and expressions of Thakur. So after the realization of God, one point. Without the commission of God, second point. A man verily becomes liberated in life if he feels God is the doer. So he will later on feel I am not there at all. He alone is doing everything. I am doing nothing. Man's suffering and worries spring only from his persistent thought that he is the doer. So he is the doer is rank ignorance, and all the troubles will come from there. I am not the doer, God is the doer, has changed the center of man's life, has changed his consciousness totally. Though one step may have to be taken later on, but this is a very big achievement. He alone is doing everything. I am doing nothing. Man's sufferings and worries spring only from the persistent thought that he is the doer. You people speak of doing good to the world. Another fault with the Brahmos, you people. Is the world such a small thing? And who are you, pray, to do good to the world? First, realize God. See Him by means of spiritual discipline. If He imparts power, then you can do good to others, otherwise not. So, teaching, now doing good to the others. Only when you have God's command and power from God, you can help others. A Brahmo devotee. Then, sir, we must give up our activities unless we realize God. From conclusion, activities are for attaining God. No, Master, no. Why should you? You must engage in such activities as contemplation, singing His praises, and other daily devotions. That means this only will lift you to God. Brahmo. But what about our worldly duties? Duties associated with our earning money and so on, that we should perform or not. Master. Yes, you can perform them so too, but only as much as you need for your livelihood. Don't become entangled. Don't go on increasing your work. At the same time, you must pray to God in solitude at the same time. If you are doing work, you should not give up your spiritual practice. You must pray to God in solitude with tears in your eyes, feeling full, that you may be able to perform these duties in an unselfish manner. Doing duties for purifying yourself, doing duties, doing good to others by unselfishness itself is very difficult. At the same time, you must pray to God in solitude with tears in your eyes, that you may be able to perform these duties in an unselfish manner. You should say to Him, "Oh God, make my worldly duties fewer and fewer." So he had asked about the worldly duties. To that, Thakur is replying, "Make my worldly duties fewer and fewer. Otherwise, O Lord, I find that I forget Thee when I am involved in too many activities. I may think I am doing unselfish work, but it turns out to be selfish. That is another important point. Simply by thinking I'll do unselfish work, that does not happen. People who carry to excess the giving of alms or the distributing of food among people fall victim to the desire of acquiring name and fame. So he started doing unselfish work for Chitta Shuddhi, but the ego came into it. And you think that you are doing good to the world? When I am involved in too many activities, I may think I am doing unselfish work, but it turns out to be selfish. People who carry to excess the giving of alms or the distribution of food among the poor fall victims to the desire of acquiring name and form. That is what happens. Shambhu Malik is an example. Shambhu Malik once talked about establishing hospitals, dispensaries, and schools, making roads, digging public reservoirs, and so forth. I said to him, don't go out of your way to look for such works. Undertake only those works that present themselves to you and are of pressing necessity, find out. And those also in a spirit of detachment. It is not good to become involved in many activities. That makes one forget God. Coming to the Kali temple, some people spend their whole life in giving alms to the people. Alms to the poor. They have no time to see the mother in the mirror in her shrine. They do not reach the Garbha Mandir at all. They start giving alms there. Laughter. First of all, manage somehow to see the image of the Divine Mother, even by pushing through the crowd. Even by. That means if necessary, you do whatever is needed. Then you may or may not give alms. Then you may or may not give alms as you wish. You may give to the poor in your heart's content if you feel that way. But first see God and then do anything. Work is only a means to the realization of God. Therefore I said to Shambhu, suppose God appears before you, then will you ask him to build hospitals and dispensaries for you? Laughter. A lover of God never says that. He will rather say, "Oh Lord, give me a plan give me a place at thy lotus feet, keeping me always in thy company. Give the sincerity and pure love for thee." So, not for any alternative motive, only to please God and find out Him in the heart and then do the good work. Karma Yoga is very hard indeed. Karma Yoga, as the Vedas teach us, Karma Kanda of the Vedas. In the Kali Yuga, it is extremely difficult to perform the rites enjoyed in the scriptures. Nowadays, man's life is centered on food alone. He cannot perform many scriptural rites. Suppose a man is laid up with fever. If you attempt a slow cure with the old-fashioned indigenous remedies, before long his life may be snuffed out. He can't stand much delay. Nowadays, the drastic D-Gupta mixture is appropriate. This D-Gupta mixture was popular in Calcutta as a good mixture from allopathic medicine. There is a footnote, a patent fever medicine containing a strong dose of quinine. Quinine is the most known devotee for removing malaria. Calcutta and Bengal was filled with malaria. And so there is a derivative medicine found by this Gupta, but its actual content is quinine plus something else. And Thakur telling that if the right path is done, you will become a quite known person. In the Kali Yuga, the best way is Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion. Singing the praises of the Lord and prayer. That is the path of devotion for a beginner. If you love God, you sing His prayer and prayer. The path of devotion alone is the religion for this age, not the Vedic Karma Kanda. To the Brahmo devotees, yours also is the path of devotion. They think they are jnanis, but they are not. They believe in Sagun Brahma. Blessed you are indeed that you chant the name of Hari and sing the Divine Mother's glories. It was actually due to Thakur's influence that it has gone. But because it has gone, Thakur is praising them. And sing the Divine Mother's glories, I like your attitude. Unless Thakur likes it, how it will grow. You don't call the world a dream like the non-dualists. They think world is experience but not real. So dream. Here also is a path of devotion. Blessed you are indeed that you chant the name of Hari and sing the Divine Mother's glories. So both are there, Hari, Vishnu and Mother, Shakti. Both things are accepted by Thakur's influence. It is very good because that will raise the devotion in you, and unless devotion is raised, you cannot realize God. I like your attitude. You don't call the world a dream like the non-dualist. It is difficult for a man, so Thakur says, I like. You are not Brahmajnanis like them. You are bhaktas, lovers of God. That you speak of him as a person is also good. You are devotees. You will certainly make him if you call on him with sincerity and earnestness. So many sincerity and earnestness, calling upon God, that will solve all the problems. The boat cast anchor at Koila Ghat. Koila Ghat, though it is a here, Kaila, it is Koila Ghat. Ghat where charcoal was made perhaps or is sold. And the passengers prepared to disembark. So the steamer went lot of south in Calcutta. It was not supposed to come back to Dakshineshwar. So that was one way steam ride. And then one has to go by horse carriages. On coming outside, they noticed that the full moon was up. That was the Purnima. We have already been informed that it was the Ras Purnima. The trees, the buildings, and the boats on the Ganges were bathed in its mellow light. A carriage was hailed for the master, and M and a few devotees got in with him. The master asked for Keshav. Presently, the latter arrived and inquired about the arrangements made for the master's return to Dakshineshwar. So it was organized by the lower cadre of people, but Keshav came. Then he bowed low and took leave of Sri Ramakrishna. The carriage drove through the European quarter of the city. The master enjoyed the sight of the beautiful mansions on both sides of the well-lighted streets. Suddenly he said, I am drowsy, I am thirsty. What's to be done? Nandalal, Keshav's nephew, stopped the carriage before the India Club and went upstairs to get some water from the India Club. The master inquired about the glass had been well washed. On being assured that it has been, he drank the water. He was very particular as God not to accept any uchishtam or any dirtiness in water. A carriage was hailed for the master, and M and a few devotees got in with him. The master asked for Keshav. Presently, the latter arrived and inquired about the arrangements made for the master's return to Dakshineshwar. Then he bowed low and took leave of Sri Ramakrishna. They will go by their own. The carriage drove through the European quarters of the city. The master enjoyed the sight of the beautiful mansions on both sides of the well-lighted street. Suddenly he said, I am thirsty. What's to be done? Nandalal, Keshav's nephew, stopped the carriage before the India Club and went upstairs to get some water. The master inquired whether the glass had been well washed. On being assured that it had been, he drank the water. As the carriage went along, the master put his hand out of the window and looked with childlike enjoyment at the people, the vehicles, the horses, and the streets, all flooded with moonlight. Now and then he heard European ladies singing at the piano. He was in a very happy mood in the bungalows because it was the European quarter. The carriage arrived at the house of Suresh Mitra, who was a great devotee of the master and whom he addressed affectionately as Surendra. He was not at home. The members of the household opened a room on the ground floor for the master and his party. The cab fare was to be paid. Surendra would have taken care of it had he been there. The master said to a devotee, "Why don't you ask the ladies to pay the fare? They certainly know that their master visits us at Dakshineshwar. I am not a stranger to them." All laughed. Narendra, who lived in that quarter of the city, was sent for. In the meantime, Sri Ramakrishna and the devotees were invited to the drawing room upstairs. The floor of the room was covered with a carpet and a white sheet. A few cushions were lying about. On the wall hung an oil painting, especially painted for Surendra, in which Ramakrishna was pointing out to Keshav the harmony of Christianity, Islam, Buddhist, Hinduism, and other religions. Once seeing the picture, Keshav had once said, Blessed is the man who conceived the idea," because that shows the harmony of religions. Sri Ramakrishna was talking joyously with the devotees when Narendra arrived. He was sent for, so he arrived. This made the master doubly happy. He said to his young disciple, "We had a boat," young disciple, that means to Narendra. "We had a boat trip with Keshav today. Vijay and many other Brahmos devotees were there performing to him. Ask him what I said to Keshav and Vijay about the neighbor and daughter observing their religious fast on 24 days, each one her own account, though the welfare of the one must meant the welfare of the other. Though it is like that, everybody should pray." I also said to Keshav, the troublemakers like Jatila and Kutila were necessary to hand over to the play. To T, let that, isn't that so? M, yes sir, quite so. That means there were some dissenting voices, and that is good for coming up in spirituality. It was late. Surendra had not yet returned. The master had to leave for the temple garden, and a cab was brought for him. That means fare at 2 points. M and Narendra saluted him and took their leave. Sri Ramakrishna's carriage started for Dakshineshwar through the moonlit streets. So here ends the conversation of October 27th, 1882. We found many wonderful truths there. Now tomorrow we'll shift to next day, October 28th. Om Tava Kathāmritam Tapta Jivanam Kaviviridhitam Kalmashapaham Shravanamangalam Shrimadatam Bhui Grunanti Ye Bhurida Jana. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.